of any relevance. I don't want to be in places, and the Simeon Trust does not want to be in places where you merely explain the text and we're not applying it to life, as if we're text people and not transformational people, as if we're merely here to speak to the head of people and the heart is left behind, as if all we're really concerned about is orthodoxy, whereas the guy, maybe many in here are saying, wow, I can't even believe I'm at a preaching workshop because my fear this week is that somehow this is going to throw me away from orthopraxis. This guy over here says, wow, I like the preaching workshop because we just do exegesis. And yet there are others in our midst that says, man, I hope they do something that's got some existential manna. These are the pressures that every person pulled into ministry feels week by week by week. And what I want to tell you this morning as we get underway with the first principle is a lesson that actually will bring these two things together. It is not one or the other. You are not a text guy or a today guy. You are going to be both. But I am going to say that you're going to take these ancient texts and in your conviction of soul, believe that when put forward in the power of the Spirit and rightly handled, they do apply to today. And that your relevancy, your competency will actually in some manner be connected to your ability with biblical text. So in one sense, I want to say that there's an order that we're going to be arguing for. Let me just do this drawing here. As you prepare and handle these pressures, you're going to put your eyeball up to the text of Scripture. And through that, you're going to begin to see its own biblical context. And on account of that, you will have something meaningful to say to today. What happens if you hold a telescope wrong way round? That's right, it's reduced, it's actually reductionistic. If you begin with the wrong end of that, you actually get less than you really wanted. Although you were committed to beginning there because you knew you had to be in today. So it's reductionistic by nature. What else? What else happens? You actually, you reduce the breadth of what is supposed to be there. You actually have fewer things to do, and I don't know about you, I've done this a little bit, it actually almost gets foggy. You're not quite sure what the whole force of the horizon looks like. Yet when you hold it right way round, what happens? The whole thing is clear, it's in proportion, it actually resembles reality, it actually is reality that I'm looking at and I'm speaking into or looking into. And that's what we're arguing for all week, is the mental discipline to take these pressures that are going like this for you. I got to be a text guy or a today guy. And to pull these things in like that and align them properly so that as you begin to reorient yourself in your word work, there's a way in which you're doing it. You are not governed by today. Today will be powerfully amplified in your preaching if you go from the text to the context. Then you'll actually be more relevant in regard to what you might have to say today. Now there's two kinds of context. I'm going to talk the next 50 minutes on this end here, this biblical context. When I think of context, there's two elements of it. There's a historical context, and there's a literary context. And so one of the things that, by way of instruction or principle to those of us who are trying to preach the Bible, we can never preach well without giving ourselves in some measure to the historical and the literary context that's there. The historical context, in a sense, lets you know the circumstances behind the text in front of you, whereas the literary context actually helps inform what is on either side of you. And so these are factors that you want to do in your study. If you go into your study telling yourself, I got to come out of here with a sermon for today, you will automatically dislodge yourself from a proper way of preparation. So it's a reorientation, I'm sure. Well, let's take a look. Let's everyone open up to 1 Corinthians 13. Let's use this as a working model. And I want you to work in groups of 2. So in groups of 2, find a partner at your table. Tell them where you normally hear this text preached. And secondly, how is it read on the days in which you hear it? I'm getting at the tonal quality, all right? Just go to the guy next to you. Go for it. All right, what do you got? Where do you normally hear it? Weddings, absolutely. And how is it normally read by the readers, whether they be friends of the bride or the groom or cousins or parents or aunts or uncles or whoever flew in from the farthest? Just what's the tonal quality in which this word walks into the congregation? It's good. Yeah, a little sentimental. Emotional. Pulling on the affection. That's the way I've read it, and that's the way I hear it read. Let me see if I can give it a run. This is kind of how it sounds.